I don't know about you guys, but today was like the first day where I opened up the Banter bubbles and I thought to myself, you know what? We're in alt season. This is the first day that I can genuinely say I really feel like we're in alt season. Altcoins popping 100% on OKX, Aerodrome 20%, Fartcoin 30%. Now I know that there's everyone with these technical arguments that it's not alt season, it's actually ETH season. But guys, ETH is an alt, and we've never ever differentiated between ETH season and alt season. That's a new thing to the cycle. And so, like, for those of you who've been here with us for the last 2-3 years and you've endured a bear market, you've endured like the worst torture, the Kamala Harris, the Tim Walz, the Joe Biden, the Gary Gensler. This is what it's about. This is why we're here. We're here for these 16 weeks at the end of the cycle where altcoins outperform Bitcoin and altcoins outperform ETH. And now we're here and we've got to have the game plan. And there's one narrative that I think most people actually aren't seeing. I don't know if you saw our thumbnail today. I guess we're probably going to get quite a few views, but I'm not going to have many friends left in the industry after today's thumbnail. For those of you who didn't see it, you'll see it here. I'm going to lose friends in the industry, but I think it's going to be a great show. I'm going to show you a blind spot that a lot of people aren't really seeing in this market, and there's a lot of money to be made in this blind spot. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to give the craziest offer that we've ever given on anything, and it's basically coming out of my own pocket, and I want you guys to hear about it. So today, it's alt season. It's a massive show. We've been waiting, 4 years for the alt season to actually start. So let's get going, guys. Well, I see one thing. I see the Momo army is here in full force, coming here to celebrate alt season with us. Happy alt season if you are celebrating. And I know that people are going to say, well, technically it's not exactly alt season, it's ETH season. Guys, there's never been a differentiation before between ETH season and alt season. That's like a 2025 thing. And for all intents and purposes, ETH is still an altcoin. So happy alt season, because it is ETH season, it is alt season. ETH right now is breaking through. It's going to break the all-time high today. I mean, the all-time high is... It's one pube away. Like, it really is. It's like $150 away from the all-time high. Pretty much almost sure that it's going to break today. And like, I've always been taught that if something walks like a duck and talks like a duck and looks like a duck, it's got to be a duck, right? If it looks like alt season and it feels like alt season, then I guess it's got to be alt season right now. And we've got to talk about all these tokens that are actually moving. As I said, I do believe that ETH is going to break the all-time high today. You can see that that's happening right now, and I'll show you in a second why I think it's going to happen today of all days. Also, great to see our altcoins pumping. So, okay, we didn't catch OKX or OKB. I'm going to pop that over here so we can get a better look at the bubbles here. But just look at the rest of the bubbles. So you got Aerodrome up 20% on the already massive move. And I want to just show you something about this massive move. First of all, on Aerodrome was the one token that we've been talking about the most in Front Runners. So anybody in Front Runners, if you didn't catch the Aerodrome trade at 40 cents, you caught it at 60 cents. If you didn't catch it at 60 cents, you would have caught it at 80 cents. You're up a hell of a lot. And the one thing about Aerodrome is that I saw a tweet from Brian Armstrong, which said, DEX trading rolled out to 1% of the Coinbase app. And this is how Aerodrome's moving. On 1% of the Coinbase app, literally 1% of the Coinbase app. So Aerodrome, one of our massive calls, is moving. The other one which is moving is Pump. So we've been gung-ho on Pump Fund. I think this is like one of the best buys of the cycle. I said there was going to be resistance here at 0.004. The reason why there's going to be resistance, this is the level where the ICO buyers got in. Now remember, the ICO buyers got in. It went all the way up and then it went all the way down, and they actually went to like a point of max pain where they were almost 50% down on their investment. And now guess what? They're back at break even. So I do believe that there's going to be some kind of resistance at this level. But once this resistance happens, this is going to be a typical crypto chart. And a typical crypto chart goes down, goes up, usually breaks the all-time high, and then actually starts going. So I kind of think that Pump's going to do exactly the same thing. I think it's going to break the all-time high, and it's going to go way beyond the all-time high. So Pump, from our front runners call. Look at our yesterday I posted a little victory lap in front runners. I said I'd like to thank my parents for all their support. I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with me for all these years, my family, my colleagues. because the front runners trade was such a magic trade for us. The other trade, which I actually made a show about yesterday, was Solana. So finally, Solana got some petrol in the tanks, some gas in the tanks. Look at the Sol ETH chart. Even the Sol ETH chart on the daily. And I know it's only 1 day, but even like on the 1 day, you finally got some movement back in the Sol ETH chart. And we finally might be seeing that Sol is actually starting to run. So for now, I don't know, to me, it feels like today was the beginning of Altseason. Today feels like it was the first day of this Altseason that we've been waiting for like the last, I don't know, last 2 years or 3 years or whatever else. And if you've been here for that long, you know why I'm so excited, right? Like, you know what we've endured. You know what we've been through. You know the bear market. You know SBF, you know FTX, you know Joe Biden, you know Gary Gensler, you know Kamala Harris, you know Tim Walz, you know everything that we went through to get to this one point in the cycle where we get 16 weeks, where we can really enjoy our lives, celebrate our lives, and everything that we've done in crypto so far. Look, if you want to be technical, we can be technical. So if you want to be technical, and this is a good technical, not a bad technical, right? You want to be technical, okay, it's not Altseason. It's ETH season. Because if you look at total 3 relative to ETH, the move in altcoins hasn't even started. Now, that's not something that we should be upset about. It's something that we should celebrate. The reason why we should celebrate it is because that means that when this chart turns, and it's inevitable for this chart to turn, it always turns at this point in the cycle. It turned over here, as you can see. So when it does turn, you know that this chart is going to go straight back up here, right? And when it does go straight back up here, you know exactly what that means for your altcoins. But I suppose if you want to be technical about it, maybe it's not Altseason, maybe it's ETH season. I don't really see a differentiation because up until this year, the differentiation between Altseason and ETH season wasn't a thing. It was like we spoke about Altseason, and when ETH went up, that was Altseason. Now, all of a sudden, there's a new narrative. Okay, it was created by Ben Cowan, and I get it, he's right. But for me, Altseason, ETH season, semantics. I am doing a show later on, or tomorrow, on the other channel, on Crypto Insider. If you're not already subscribed to Crypto Insider, go and subscribe to it. Because there I break down exactly whether or not the actual Altseason has actually started, right? Because yes, there is a bit of an Altseason going on, but is it the actual Altseason that has actually started? And that I'm going to break down on this channel either later today or tomorrow. I've already shot the video. The only thing is the editors are editing it because we edit a lot on this channel. So we'll leave a link below if you want to go and watch that. Remember, at the end of the show, I'm going to give you guys the craziest offer I've ever given. It's going to live for 24 hours and then it dies. And that's it. All right. So to summarize what I speak about when I speak about Altseason, I mean, for Altseason to happen, there's certain things that really have to happen. The first thing that has to happen is ETH BTC has to have a breakout, right? I don't know. That's if that's not a breakout, then what is a breakout? This is the best breakout I've ever seen. So ETH BTC has broken out. The next thing you need is you need Bitcoin dominance to drop below the 50 MA and below the 200 MA. Guys, Bitcoin dominance has dropped below the 50 MA and the 200 MA. And not only that, tomorrow, this is going to put in a death cross. And you know what the death cross means. You know what it means, what the fate of death crosses. If you don't, let me just take you back to the previous Altseasons. That's where the death cross actually happened. Look what happened. Okay, bang. That's where the death cross actually happened. So, I mean, that's going to happen. Yes, okay, I mean, you can be like retail and you can wait for the Altseason index to go to 75 so that this indicator, this retail-centric indicator can tell you that it's Altseason, right? But if you do, that means you're going to miss the whole entire run up to Altseason. And then lastly, there's a secret metric, which I use. It's a secret metric. I don't actually share it very much because it's the same metric that tells me when to exit the market. And I'm not going to share it here on this show. But on the other show, on the other channel, I'm going to share a secret metric. And that other metric tells me that it's very, very, very close to, if not already, Altseason, right? But okay, for now, I'm gonna go with you guys here. I'm gonna stick to this narrative of it's ETH season. And you can see that it's ETH season, right? You can look at the ETH chart, and that chart today is going to break its all-time high. I have it on good authority that today there is a massive buyer in the market, which is going to push this chart well over the all-time high. You can also see that the others actually only starts when ETH breaks its all-time high. And like today, ETH is going to break its previous all-time high. And the last time that ETH broke the previous all-time high, I mean, do you see what I see? Everyone sees what I see here, right? So as soon as we break the all-time high here, that is when the others, which is the other chart, actually starts running. Also, if you look at the insatiable demand that Wall Street now has for ETH, Wall Street has finally clicked on what ETH is, right? Like it's like they didn't know. Now they actually do know, right? I see the likes are only at 400. Is the like indicator broken? There's something wrong here. It's because I didn't tell them, oh, you got to like the show to then I'll bring alpha, right? I'll remind them. All right, guys, if you like the content, if you want more alpha, smash the like button and I'll give you more alpha. I promise. That's how it is. Someone's talking about 𝗥𝗏𝗡𝗙. We actually didn't talk about 𝗥𝗏𝗡𝗙 today, believe it or not. So what I'm seeing here on ETH is absolutely crazy. Look at this. The inflows into ETH are $1 billion yesterday, whereas the inflows into Bitcoin yesterday were not $1 billion. The inflows into the Bitcoin ETF yesterday was $65 million. You can clearly see that Wall Street has now caught onto ETH. And the part that they've caught, you can see, like, look here, Peter Thiel, one of the legendary investors of our time, co-founder of PayPal with Elon Musk, he's now going big on ETH treasury companies, 9.1% of BMNR, which is Tommy Lee's company, 7.5% stake in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is another one of these massive ETH ETF companies, right? This one's actually backed by 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏. You know 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏, that one of the guys that usually comes on our show. So you also have Dan Moorhead from Banter, and they're also massive into the ETH treasury companies. I read their newsletter last night, and this is very, very, very much worth reading. In fact, maybe we'll do a show about it today, tomorrow, or the next day. But for one, the one thing about this, their model forecast that Bitcoin was during crypto winter. We forecast that Bitcoin would hit 117,482 on the 11th of August. On the 11th of August, Bitcoin did hit 117,482. Can you believe that? Like, can you believe that? So, like, that's accuracy. And now what these guys are doing is they're talking about digital asset treasury companies, and specifically they spend a lot of time talking about BMNR and Tom Lee and how they've backed Tom Lee and why they've backed Tom Lee. And we'll do that whole show, I think tomorrow or the next day. The other thing that Wall Street has finally caught onto is they've caught onto staking rewards. And they say, like, look, if you include the staking rewards, ETH has now outperformed Bitcoin by 900 bips year to date, right? So basically, now Wall Street has realized that ETH is an opportunity to get into compounded staking rewards, compounded returns on yield. So, and Wall Street love that narrative. And that's why right now you've got Altseason or ETH season or Altseason. Because I don't know, to me, altcoins, ETH, it's the same thing. But I guess, look, semantics, even though the altcoin search trends are absolutely flying, I mean, I have to agree with Miles here, where he says, look, alts haven't gone crazy yet because it's still ETH time to shine. This is a good thing. You don't want rotation too early. Let ETH be the king. The more the prices rise in ETH, the cheaper the altcoins become relative to ETH, the bigger the repricing becomes. So that's one thing that most people in crypto don't understand. Most altcoin trading pairs trade against ETH, and they become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper when you compare them to ETH. And so the higher ETH goes, the longer ETH runs, the more biblical that this altcoin season will actually be. And so if you're celebrating today, or if you're celebrating this week, okay, I guess we have a lot to celebrate, a ton. That's a lot to celebrate, right? But it's just the beginning, guys. For those of you who've been here before, for ETH season or for Altseason, see, I'm even getting the terminologies like completely like what's the story here? So if you've been here before, you know that this is just the beginning. I recommend that for the next 16 weeks, you tell your friends you're not going to be able to see them. Tell your wife that it'll all be with your girlfriends, your wife, your future ex-wife. Tell them that it'll all be worth it in the end because you're not going to see them anymore. Like, this is the season where you wake up in the middle of the night, you check your phone. This is the season where you don't have time to socialize with your friends because this is full-blown Altseason, which is just around the corner, which is actually happening here. Now, I did mention to you earlier that there's one narrative that I think a lot of people in crypto are missing. And I want to speak about that one narrative because I think it's so obvious. That yet, despite how obvious it is and how it's becoming more and more obvious every day, every minute, every hour, I still believe that no one is talking about this particular narrative in crypto. And I need to talk to you about this particular narrative in crypto because it's going to work a lot. It's going to work better. But It's going to work quickly, but it's not going to work as quickly. Like, it's not going to explode overnight. But you need to be in these narratives, and you need to be in these narratives. Listen to what I'm telling you now. Just like I told you to get into Aerodrome, just like I told you to get into PUP, I'm telling you that this is the next narrative. I'm going to show you exactly how you position yourself. And for the Momo people in the chat, I love Momo, but I'm not talking about Momo here, right? So collars are the fashion in SA. No, it's cold here, man. It's like freezing cold outside. Your haircut looks weird. What's wrong with my haircut? I mean, I cut it this morning. Was it not good? All right, so let's talk about this specific run jinxing the market. We're talking about Bitcoin's at 120,000. Solana's at 200. So let's talk about this narrative. It's the biggest narrative in crypto. It's the biggest narrative for crypto. It's the most used application in crypto by far. It's the biggest focus for the US government by far. And that is a narrative which up until now wasn't really exciting for us, and that's the narrative of stablecoins, right? And you can see that right now people are searching the word stablecoins like it's crazy. But it's not only that. Number one, it is the most used application in crypto by far. If you look at stablecoins transactions as a function of all transactions in crypto ever, that big section over here, this is only up until December, this big section over here is stablecoins. And so we're dealing with the biggest use case for blockchain in the world. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can actually make money trading this narrative, right? So the first thing is there is this narrative around stablecoins. We know the US government, Scott Bessent, is 100% behind this, unlike the previous administration.
And I'm here to assure you that we are going to work with the controller of the currency, the IRS, and we're going to rescind and amend all applicable previous guidance. And we are going to put a lot of thought into the stablecoin regime. And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stable.
So the US know that in order to remain the dominant the dominant currency in the whole world, they have to win in one place. And that is they have to turn the dollar into the digital dollar. And the way to do that is not through a CBDC. It's through stablecoin and stablecoin adoption, and specifically of US stablecoins. This is their biggest focus right now. And even the Trump family, if you look at the Trump family is all in on stablecoins. They've got World Liberty Fi, and World Liberty Fi is launching their own stablecoin. Do not discount this narrative. And I know it feels like a boring narrative because you haven't been able to trade it. But today I'm going to actually show you exactly which protocols you can actually trade. And you've got to get into them pretty fast. Otherwise, you're going to lose this opportunity. So let's talk about what's actually going on in the world of stablecoins. The world of stablecoins was limited to USDC and USDT, right? And USDC and USDT pretty much ran across blockchains. You could get USDT and USDC on Solana, you can get them on Tron, you can get them on ETH, you can get them on Sonic, you can get them on a whole lot of other different chains. Now, there seems to be a completely new narrative which is starting to hit the market, and it's hitting the market when 𝗕𝗏𝗃 calls, we have to stop and we have to different. So the up until now, the narrative has been stablecoins on different chains. But now there's a brand new narrative in town, and it's super important that you understand this narrative. There is a trend of new chains, new stablecoin chains being issued by anyone who has distribution. Initially, we heard rumors, and we managed to confirm the rumors, that Tether, Bitfinex, was backing a layer one called Plasma, which I'm going to talk about in a couple of seconds. And that Plasma was a stablecoin blockchain, right? Yesterday, we had Circle publish their results. And as part of the results, they spoke about launching Arc, which is a layer one blockchain dedicated to stablecoins, right? So what we're seeing is there's a whole lot of new blockchains that are dedicated to stablecoins. Now, when you say a blockchain is dedicated to stablecoins, what does that mean? It's got to be a blockchain which is fast, which is super cheap, which is super compliant, and which also allows for privacy transactions. Because if you cannot have privacy transactions, no one's going to use your blockchain. If you think that JP Morgan and all those guys are going to expose their identities and the identities of their clients whilst using blockchain, that ain't going to happen, right? So they've got to be super compliant and privacy compliant. And so now there's a new race in town. The new race in town is these new stablecoin layer ones that are launching. Circle's launching one. Tether has backed one called Plasma. By the way, I think Plasma is going to be one of the winners. This is a layer 2 or layer 1, basically. It's very fast. It's got gasless fees if you're transferring USDT. Imagine being able to transfer USDT for free, no transfer costs. It allows for private transactions. And what it's becoming is it's becoming a race of distribution, right? And what do we mean by distribution? So Circle launches ARC. Plasma is backed by Tether. Stable is backed by Tether. Also, Stripe also came out with an announcement yesterday. And in the announcement, JP Morgan, they launched a stablecoin on Base, actually, or launching a stablecoin on Base. Then Stripe, which is, one of the biggest payment application or payments processors in the world, they came out and they said, look, we're launching a new blockchain called Tempo, right? As I said, Circle came out yesterday, amazing results, but also they're talking about a ARC, which is a new layer 1 blockchain for stablecoins. Stripe, again, layer 1 blockchain for stablecoins. Okay, why? Why are they doing this? Well, very simple. If you can create your own blockchain and you can extract the value of your own blockchain and you can create your own stablecoin. So if you've got massive distribution and a big client base like Stripe, like JP Morgan, why should you not cut the 4.5% that you earn on treasuries? Why should you give it to the likes of Tether and to the likes of Circle, right? And that's exactly the narrative here. If you have distribution, start your own layer 1 chain, let your customers use that chain to transfer stablecoins amongst them. Free transactions, basically. So gasless transactions. Remember with stablecoins, the main thing about stablecoins is that you can't have slippage. When you're trading one token against another token, it's okay to have slippage. But when it comes to stablecoins, it's not okay to have slippage. Because if you're trading one kind of USD to another kind of USD and you're losing like 1% every time you make that transaction, you can't do that. And you can't do that en masse. And so this is now the new thing. The new thing is all these massive companies with massive distribution are starting their own layer 1 blockchains. So that is basically what's happening. Now, let's talk about where the opportunity is here, because I know that you guys are here for the opportunity. You're not here because of stablecoins. You're here because you want to make money. So where are the opportunities? The first thing is look out for these things that are going to launch. The one that's launching, I'm not allowed to tell you this because I've been sworn to secrecy. The one that's launching in September is Plasma. You never heard it from me. Okay, you heard it from somebody else. I know the guys from Plasma are watching the show. I'll keep watching my phone that they tell me, oh, you breached the NDA. Okay, I'm watching, guys. I'm watching. I'm right here. I can't keep a secret from my community. You know that. Everyone knows that. So the one that is going to be amazing is going to launch sometime in September, which is actually backed by Tether. It's the Tether USDT blockchain, is Plasma. That's launching sometime in September, and we'll keep our eyes open, and I'll show you exactly what can happen around Plasma. I don't want to talk about that today. I want to talk about the trades that you can actually take today if you like stablecoins and you want to capitalize on this narrative. And there's a whole lot of coins, including Chainlink, which we'll talk about today. So first of all, let's understand who is the biggest loser here. Because sometimes you can long the winners and short the losers, and you actually end up making money. You make double the amount of money, right? So who's going to be the biggest loser here? In my opinion, the biggest loser from all these stablecoin chains and the biggest loser from all these stablecoin transactions, and the one token which I think if I was going to go short a token because of this narrative, the one token that I potentially look to short is actually Tron. And the reason why I'd look to short Tron is because if you look at stablecoin transactions up until now, the majority of the stablecoin transactions actually happened on Tron. You see this red number over here? That's Tron. Why? Because Tron positioned itself as the cheapest blockchain to transfer stablecoins. And if you look at the amount of peer-to-peer transactions on chains, Tron is the one that has the majority of the market share. They have the most to lose by all these blockchains actually doing it. So if you want to do a short, I'm not for 1 minute saying you want to do a short, especially not when Bitcoin's trading at 121,000. And now Bitcoin's going to go through its all-time high. So let's just take a minute to just do the market prayer. But before we do, we interrupt our regular broadcasting. We'll be back for the regular broadcasting after we do the prayer to help Bitcoin go straight through its all-time high, which it's going to go through now. I'm telling you, if you do that prayer often enough, I promise you it actually does push up the price. We'll do it again before the end of the show. All right, so the biggest loser here, I think, is going to be Tron, right? And I mean, Tron have built a blockchain with a $33 billion fully diluted valuation. And actually, the only like real use case of that blockchain today that is unique, well, not even unique anymore, is stablecoins. So to me, biggest loser, Tron. Biggest winners. Now, here is where you need to start paying attention. So the one thing that all these stablecoin chains have in common, right, is that they are all built using EVM technology. They are all Ethereum blockchain EVM compliant. EVM, they use EVM, Ethereum virtual machine, which means that the winners here will be the EVM protocols that can capitalize on this specific narrative. And here is where you need to start paying attention. So here's the problem. I want you to, you first have to understand the problem to understand who actually wins or where the solution actually, I didn't say ton, I said Tron. Short Tron, T-R-O-N, not ton. So who are, guys, I told you the prayer works. I told you the prayer works. We just did the prayer once, and now look at Bitcoin, 121,874. It was 121,500 when we started the prayer. Unbelievable what's going on here. I think we should do it again. Okay, so so the biggest loser, Tron. Now let's understand the actual problem, which you need to understand if you need to understand the stablecoin transaction thing. So imagine a world where there are multiple stablecoins. There's PayPal stablecoin, there's USDT, there's USDC, there's USDY, there's USDZ, there's USD A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And someone says to you, can I pay you in crypto? And you say yes. And he says, okay, cool. Well, can I send you some 𝗥_USDC, which is Circle's USDC? And they say, no, my wallet only works on Stripe. And they say, no problem. We'll just bridge from ETH to Stripe. And then I want to swap the USDC for USDT. And that just becomes a shit show, right? So that is the problem. Imagine a world where you have 100 different types of stablecoins. They all essentially represent $1, right? They all essentially represent $1. But you've got 100 different types of stablecoins. Now the question is, what do you do? What do you do? So that's the problem that actually needs to be solved here. That's the thing that actually needs to be solved here. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about how to actually solve this stablecoin problem that is about to hit us. I want to just quickly sort something out. Okay, so now I want to show you how we solve this problem. So there's actually two problems that need to be solved. And I think if you understand the problems and you understand how they're going to get solved, you can understand exactly what the narratives are and what you should be playing. The one problem is that the coins live on different chains. So there is a plasma chain, there is an ETH chain, there is an ETH layer 2 chain, there is a Solana chain, and the coins, the same coins, USDT and USDC, all live on these different chains. And so the one problem that you need to solve is you need to solve how to take the same asset onto multiple chains and trade it with very, very, very little slippage, so to speak, right? That's the first problem that you actually need to solve. And to a greater or less extent, there are already winners in that specific narrative. And I want to talk to you about who those winners are. But I guess the first winner for me in that narrative is Chainlink. I don't think you can argue that Chainlink right now has, I think, the biggest market share in cross-chain protocol. You know, if you think about real-world asset tokenization and you think about stablecoins, stablecoins are actually the first real-world assets to actually get tokenized, because you're taking a real-world asset, which is a dollar, and you're tokenizing it and you're putting it on chain. Now, Chainlink provide two amazing services when it comes to stablecoins. One is they provide data oracles. For those who don't know what that means, it means that they provide accurate pricing data of one asset versus another asset, one stablecoin versus another stablecoin, right? The second thing is they provide cross-chain protocols. Now, when I say cross-chain protocols, they allow for one asset to move to another from one chain to another chain using what they call CCIP, which we'll talk about in another show. And the third thing is they've got this thing called privacy oracles. Sensitive data often needs to be made accessible to smart contracts without revealing the underlying data sets. And here, private chains also need to be interoperable. So that's where Chainlink actually comes into this equation. Now, it's not a big shock, not a big surprise. Chainlink has jumped over the last couple of days on this news, but also on the news of the new Chainlink Reserve. And for those of you who haven't been following, quickly I'll explain the new Chainlink Reserve to you guys. What the Chainlink Reserve, guys, the Chainlink Reserve is, if you've been living under a rock, it's Chainlink have a lot of real world clients, and those real world clients don't pay them on chain. And so what happens here is the apps and enterprises that pay to use Chainlink in their preferred method, and then Chainlink takes those US dollars and actually buys Link and puts it into the reserve. That's the big announcement that was made a few days ago, and that's what drove Chainlink up. I think Chainlink is in the beginning of its run, not in the end of its run. And to be honest, over the last couple of days, I have added actually Chainlink to my portfolio. There are some other narratives or some other cross-chain protocols that also might benefit from this, right? And that haven't started moving. The one big one that is probably the best technology, but hasn't started moving yet, is Layer 0. What's Layer 0? Layer 0 is a communication layer between blockchains, which allows for the smoothest and fastest cross-chain transactions between two blockchains. This chart has been a down-only chart, but remember that A16Z invested like a massive number in fact, let me actually get you the actual number that A16Z invested in Layer 0. They put 55 million into Layer 0 with a 3-year lockup. They obviously know what's going on here, and they obviously know why they're backing Layer 0. So for me, the 2 or 3 cross-chain protocols that are going to do the best here: Chainlink, Layer 0, and maybe 𝗥𝗏𝗏. 𝗥𝗏𝗏 is also one of these ones that hasn't done very, very well, but has got one of the best technologies when it comes to cross-chain. All right, so we've solved the first problem here. And the first problem is, how do you get these multiple assets across multiple chains? You've got USDT on one chain. How do you move it from the one chain to the other chain very, very, very quickly without actually having to worry about it? That solves one of the problems, but we haven't solved the other problem. The other problem is, if you've got USDT and you want to trade your USDT to USDC, and I'm talking to you on size. Say you're a bank and you've got $10 million or $50 million or $100 million of USDT, and you want to swap them for USDC. You cannot trade that on a DEX, because if you do, you're going to get slippage. And even if you get like 0.1% slippage, that's unacceptable slippage when you're talking about millions and millions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? You need a protocol or a place where you can swap one stablecoin to another. This is the biggest play in stablecoins. And this is the part that most people do not see. And I think that you guys need to be the first people to actually see this. You have the biggest application, the biggest focus for the US government, the biggest focus for the Trumps is stablecoins. You need to understand that these stablecoins live on multiple chains, and that in the future, the banks are going to land up with like these pots of like USDC, USDT, USDY, USDP, PayPal, USD, anything, right? How do you take those? How do you take that and swap them between each other with little to no slippage? There's 2 options. One is you can go to the centralized entities. Probably the banks will do it. Probably the crypto exchanges will do it, because remember, they've got a lot of USDC and USDT, and you may just go to an exchange and deposit your USDT or your USDC. The thing is that when you go to Binance, I just want to show you this. Let me see if I can quickly just get a Binance market here. So even Binance, like, I don't have a Binance account, but I'll show it to you anyway. And it happens with every exchange. Let's see if we can actually just get their trading pairs, because I actually want to show you this, because I think that's the only way that you're really, really, really going to understand it. I don't want an account. Okay. I don't want an account. Next. I don't want an account. I just want to look at your markets. Binance.com. I wonder if they'll let me log in here or not. I don't have a Binance account. I don't do KYC, people. Okay, here we go. So markets. Let's see if we can click on markets. And then I want to go to a specific market. Let's see if it lets me go to a specific market. Let's see if I can find USDT versus USDC. USDT versus USDT USDC. Damn it. Let's see. Okay. Long story short, if you can find, I can't do it. I don't know how to use this Binance application, but you can see that the price, yeah, you can even see it over here. What's the price of one USDT? It's 1,0000 in TradFi. And when you're moving millions and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, you can't do that. You can't. Let's just see if we can get the spot market here. USDT, USDC. Let's see if we can do USDC, USDT maybe. Okay, look at you see, there we go. The problem is that you can't pay that. You can't lose 0.1% of your transaction every time that you do a swap in stablecoins. Because if you do, when you do billions and billions of dollars, then the problem is that there's a problem here. Okay, so who benefits from this? Well, there are a couple of DeFi applications in the decentralized worlds that actually cater specifically for this, and this is where I think people are sleeping. The first one is a protocol called Curve. I've spoken about this one before. It's done very well since we bought it in Front Runners. It's gone from, we bought it at 40 cents. It's trading today at $1, I think. And Bitcoin is, hold on. Let's just watch this because I think Bitcoin's going to go to 122. So the first one, come on Bitcoin, go to 122 so we can carry on the show. There we go. We got 122. Now we'll carry on the show. So the first one is Curve. Curve is a protocol, and this is, I want you to really pay attention here because when you understand what this protocol actually does, we bought it somewhere here at like 40 cents or somewhere here at 40 cents. Curve allows you to swap assets that are actually very, very similar. So unlike a DEX like Uniswap or one of the other DEXs, instead of pairing the asset with ETH or pairing the asset with Bitcoin or USDT or whatever it is, here you have assets which are very similar. You see like one USD against another USD. One USD against another USD. One ETH against another ETH. ETH, right? And so what you can see is that the liquidity pools for Curve are all for assets which have very little variance against one another. And as a result of very sophisticated technology, which again, I'm not going to have time to go through on this show, what you can see is you can see that Curve becomes the ultimate place, if it has huge liquidity, to swap one stablecoin into another with very, 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 very little slippage, right? And so what you can see is, so, I mean, this is from Grok. It says, Curve is a decentralized exchange optimized for low slippage between stablecoins and similar assets with over 2 billion in TVL at mid 2025. It thrives on stablecoin volume through its automated market maker pools, right? And so Curve should be one of the biggest custodians of the stablecoin thing. Now, Curve's also got amazing tokenomics, which again is not something I want to talk about in the show, but know that this thing is almost deflationary tokenomics. So it says next week, Curve inflation will fall below 5%. Now ask yourself, will stablecoins grow faster than 5%? Citibank predicts they're going to grow 14x to 3.7 trillion. And Curve is literally, someone says you'll eventually agree, Curve is Bitcoin for DeFi. That's how smart this protocol actually is around the stablecoin narrative, right? So the second thing, so Curve is, in my opinion, going to be like one of the best ones. You can see they've also got a Telegram application where you can, who had tried out Curve Finance Telegram mini app, where you can basically on mini app on a ton, you can actually swap between one USD to another USD using Curve, right? You're starting to understand what's going on here. And this is what the market hasn't caught on. In terms of the metrics, their metrics are growing. They have now 40,000 monthly active users. And I think this is just starting. And I actually really think that this one can go back to $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. Next one that I think is really good is a derivative of Curve. It's called Convex, okay? Now, again, for what you need to know now is that Convex is a derivative of Curve. Why? Because it gives you boosted returns just by holding Curve. So you stake your Curve with Convex and it actually gives you a boosted reward. So Convex is another one that responds very, very, very well. The last one that I want to talk about is, again, one that we have been in for quite a while, but again, worth talking about it in this stablecoin narrative is Fluid, right? So what is Fluid? Fluid is a liquidity optimized DeFi application which which is a DEX, which has multiple liquidity pools. But the biggest or the most lively pool is the USDT USDC pool, which has a similar functionality to Curve, which allow for capital efficient swaps between stablecoins, right? And so I think like the winners in this application, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 in terms of stable swaps on Ethereum, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Lite above Balancer, Pancake, and so you can see that 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Now look, it has done very, very, very well. But remember, in the cycle, what you want to do is you want to back the winners. I think we got into it like $3, but you want to back the winners in the cycle. And I really think that this one is just going to carry on going up and carry on going up and carry on going up. And so, long story short, to summarize it all, I think the biggest narrative that most people aren't talking about, because it seems boring because of the word stable in the name, is stablecoins. Now, if you can make money on stablecoins, that's the best place to land up making money on crypto, right? Because it's the biggest application. It's the one that the Trumps care about the most. It's the one that everyone cares about the most. How do you capitalize? You solve the problem of one stablecoin moving across chains, Chainlink, Layer 0, maybe 𝗥𝗏𝗏. And the second way that you capitalize it is the EVM chains will all need to use an EVM provider to actually swap the coins between each other. Today, Curve caters for 28 chains. So here's a list of all the EVM chains that it actually caters for. And this actually keeps increasing, even though the foundation are like asking questions. This actually carries on increasing. Curve, Convex, and I think one of our best DeFi players in the cycle, which is 𝗏𝗏𝗏, those are the places where you can actually land up capitalizing on it. All right, so that's pretty much the story for today. It's the beginning of Altseason. Here it is. Let's just quickly, while we're here, let's just check some bubbles together. Radium, $3.69. Curve up 11%. Still only at $1. Pump, has it broken that magic 0.04 level? No. Aerodrome up 14%. 𝗬𝗏 still hasn't broken the 4-year. Altcoin, 𝗙𝗏𝗙𝗏 rises. We know that. Say up 35.5 cents. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. A lot of things actually happening here. Now, I told you earlier that I'm going to give you guys like the craziest one-time offer. I'm paying for this offer out of my own pocket. So it's a crazy one-time offer and it's never going to happen again. And it's happening now, and it's happening from now until the end of tomorrow's show, which is exactly 24 hours. After that, it ain't never happening again. So listen up and listen carefully. As you know, we have been making a lot of money trading these bots. You've been following this account. This account started at $50,000. It's at $124,000. It was at $119,000 yesterday. The reason why is because we have been trading bots on this account. And they're not only are they bots, there are bots that make money when the price moves up, and they make money by trading in and out of the grids. I started this bot on Sunday. I put $3,000 into this bot. I'm already 10.61% up on this specific bot. The ETH bots that I've been running for quite a while. And by the way, you can copy every single one of my settings and every single one of my bots. And if you want, we can do a bot trading tutorial. We can do that tomorrow if you guys want, or the next day, or the weekend. We'll do that, yeah. Yeah, where is my big ETH trade? I think is it the one? It's not even this one, but this one's up like 52%. That's not even my big one. There's a much bigger ETH bot here, which I want to show you. Anyway, okay. All my bots and all my trades are available in the description of the show. And if you, what's wrong? Okay. I'll show you all my ETH bots. Let me show you. All the ETH bots and are all available in the description of the show. And you can copy my ETH bots, all my bots here, by opening an account on Pionex and using this link. And if you do, you will get $1,000. Okay, you must put all the bots back. I don't know why I took them out. I told him yesterday I must put them all back. Okay, but now here's the crazy one-time offer that again, we're not. I'm paying this out of my own pocket, so it's only going to happen once. So listen very carefully. You know, I've been talking about front runners, and I've told you that front runners is probably the best place for you guys to be in the bull market. Literally, there are so many calls that happen in here. I mean, just look at the bragging rights where people are just dropping all the money that they're making on all the trades that they're actually making from things that are actually happening in front runners. There's 10 of us in this thing full time, giving you every single call, every single reason, every single bit of market analysis. It all happens in front runners. Next week, Banter, not next week. Yeah, next week. Next week, Banter is launching its very own news terminal. Front runners will be the first people to actually get it. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. if you sign up to Front Runners, and it's only for the next 24 hours and it ain't never happening again. If you sign up to Front Runners and you sign up to Pionex or to BloFin and you deposit money, because I want to make sure you guys aren't botting the space, I will personally deposit an additional $150 into your account. So you sign up today to Front Runners, and then you sign up to Pionex or you sign up to BloFin today in the next 24 hours. I will personally deposit an extra $150 into your account over and above the $1,000 deposit bonus and any other thing that they are, any other deposit bonus. So you're going to sign up to Front Runners, you're going to pay like $199. Then we're going to pay the taxes and whatever else, and we're going to get $150. And I'm going to put that money back straight into your account, which basically you'll end up getting a $1,000 sign-up bonus. You'll end up getting the thing, and I'm giving you the $150 back into your account. It's only open for 24 hours. By the way, if you are in Front Runners already and you open a Pionex account in the next 24 hours, you're also going to get that extra $150 deposited into your account. All right, so you know from now you've got 24 hours to actually do it. BloFin is a non-KYC exchange. Anyone can do it. Pionex is slightly more. They've got a layer 1 KYC, but it is the best place to trade bots. And these bots are extremely profitable. Regarding the the current price is higher. So this one, you see, this bot has smashed its upper limit. Now we need to change that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to edit the price range, and I'm going to actually tell it to start trading now because we can't stop trading. Let's go to 5,000. It's not even going to get us here. Okay, so we need this bot trading as quickly as possible. Liquidation price $3,000. I'm happy with that. No, hold it. That's too high. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Perfect. Done. Next step. I don't want to reinvest my profits. I don't want to reinvest my profits just yet. Adopt. Bang. Okay. Double confirm. Brilliant. Let's go. All right. So now you know the offers. Now you know it's alt season. Now you know the best place for stablecoins. You pretty much know everything you need to know until tomorrow. And I'll be back here tomorrow telling you what you need to know until the next day. Until then, trade well, my friends.